is a carnival. On the ground feeling vertigo. Every minute, every second you're around, all the walls get loud. You're the end of every road. I feel you, you're calling in every room I walk in. I breathe you, I fall in. I know I can't ignore it. Whenever I leave, whenever I'm home, wherever I go, you echo. Falling asleep, got my eyes closed, I can still see your shadow. You following me, I'm never alone. Try to forget, but the memories go. Whenever I leave, whenever I'm home, wherever I go, you echo. Echo, 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 echo. My mind's like a festival. You're gone, but you're always close. You're the ocean and I'm running like a wave. Only see your face. Will I ever let you go? I feel you, you're calling in every room I walk in. I breathe you, I fall in. I know I can't ignore it. Whenever I leave, whenever I'm home, wherever I go, you echo. Falling asleep, got my eyes closed, I can still see your shadow. You're following me, I'm never alone. Try to forget, but the memories know. Whenever I leave, whenever I'm home, wherever I go, you echo. Whenever I leave, whenever I'm home, wherever I go, you echo. Falling asleep, got my eyes closed, I can still see your shadow. Following me, I'm never alone. Try to forget, but the memories know. Whenever I leave, whenever I'm home, wherever I go, you echo. Wherever I go, you echo. Wherever I go, you echo.
All right, guys, what is going on? What is good? What is good, man? Welcome to the live stream. It is Tuesday the 30th, right? Last day of the month. You guys ready to learn something today? You guys ready to learn something today? Today has not been the easiest of days. And challenges make us better, chat. If you're willing to learn, of course. So I don't even know where to start. I got up way early this morning. I could not go back to sleep, so I ended up staying up. I am starting to convince myself that that was a mistake because I'm very tired right now. So, oh, good job, Eric, who got funded today. Oh, look at that. See, people can get funded and take good trades even in not the greatest conditions. I'll say that. So, great job, Eric. No caffeine today? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I was real close. I was real close to finding some cocaine instead. You know what I mean? If you hear me sniffling, don't judge. I'm just kidding. I've never had Coke before, and I don't plan on doing it because I have a sports car, and that just would not. It's euro and dollar. You know what I mean? It's just you don't put that together. They're two different things. Anyway, someone asked earlier about how to avoid analysis paralysis. So I did want to expand on that. If you guys are cool. You guys cool with that? Jeez, we might make a new low of day right here near the beginning of our live stream today. How many soups are we going to have today? It is an absolute buffet. September 30th, 2025. The soup buffet. I'm saying, Mason. I'm saying we're like getting ready to soup the soup. It's insane. But yeah. I wouldn't touch this with a 20-foot pole, personally. Demo, who cares? But not real money and not a funded account either. So anyway. Adam asked, how do you prevent analysis paralysis? So the reality is there's really no preventing it. I mean, it happens. There's a lot of tools that you can use. You know what I mean? There's a lot of models that you can have. There's a lot of models that you can follow. You know, there's a lot of different time frames. There's a lot of different entry techniques, stop loss placement techniques. You know, there's a lot that you can do when it comes to trading or investing, right? So I commented and I said, if it's not an idea that you can frame one-sided, then it's simply not worth taking to me. If you're in analysis paralysis, just don't push any buttons, sit still, and wait for clarity. It's probably the best answer that I can come up with, and it's probably an answer that a lot of people will not learn to appreciate until they do the opposite. You try to go 86 miles an hour in the school zone. That may or may not work out for you. But at a certain point, 86 miles an hour when you should be going 20 to 25 miles an hour, at some point, one of those school cops is going to clap you. I don't know, Mason. I'm not telling you. But just know, I would never do 86 miles an hour in a school zone. Now, the side streets, I couldn't tell you how fast I've been. But I wouldn't do that. So, let me continue on this idea, but let me do the intro shout outs real quick so then we can have this and get into more content. What's good? Eminem, Naruto, Jork, Scott, Marshall, MJ, Cameron, Eric, Roger, Maximiliano, Twins, Devin, one of our newer members. What is going on? H, Flacco. It's been one of the hardest weeks. Hey, I get that, man. I get that. Who else? Oscar, Adam, Yuso. What's good, everyone? All right. So I wanted to add a little bit more to that, right? This idea of analysis paralysis. So you know what it is? I turned my air filter off. That's why I've been coughing. I took the filter out. I haven't put it back yet. I just figured that out. Okay. How to avoid analysis paralysis. So there's a couple points I wanted to make. Number one was stick to your plan and stick to your model. So if we come back to the basics for a minute, okay? If we come back to the basics, chat, one of the basics, okay, when it comes to trading, we like basics. You know what I mean? We like to keep it simple, right? You remember that? Ellie, today was tough. It wasn't impossible, but I would agree that it wasn't the easiest day. Do you know the difference between these up here? If we were to also invert these, which this is going to be hard to match it. I'm too tired for this shit. I think that's a lower low. That looks like it. Okay, yeah, whatever. It ain't gonna be perfect, but y'all remember this? Today was tough, but I walked away with 5 honeys. Very good. Very good. Okay, Mason, there we go. One is a potential stop, and one is a potential target. Wonderful. See how easy that was? We always try to make trading so difficult. We try to make things so... We're just human and we're stupid. Right? We don't want to be that. Markets that do this, okay, that if we traded higher, then we had a higher high here, and we start to trade lower, that higher high, right, we classify that as high resistant highs, which is typically a better stop loss than it is a take profit, usually. Okay. Now the other side, right, where we have a high on the right that is slightly lower, that is usually that's usually a good stop loss if you can get in right after that. Like if that's weakness and you want to short, yeah, usually. But after the market were to come down, make a low somewhere and start to trade higher, that ends up becoming a target most likely. So these are easy targets, right? If we're bullish, we have a set of highs where the high on the right is slightly lower. Equal is nice. When it's slightly lower, that's nice too. And it's going to be the same for the other side, right? Where we have let's say we have a down market, then we get a lower low and the market reverses. Something like that's usually going to be a good stop loss placement, especially turtle soup. And we're going to go over that in a minute too. And, right, same thing over here. If we've traded higher and the market is now bullish and we have low resistant lows, that's going to be a good target. You guys with me so far? Drop some ones in the chat if you guys are with me so far. Right? These are basics. So when you come over here and now you look at the chart, it makes a little bit more sense. Automatically, it makes more sense. Just from that criteria. How did we make the lows? How did we make the highs? Right? And identify them. You have a high here. Yesterday, Asia, I believe that is. Not quite London. We sell off into London, right? London does a whole bunch of, we'll talk about London in a minute, especially when it comes to the dollar index. But for now, we'll stick to the basics, okay? So we have a set of low resistance highs up here, okay? Trade lower. Now, we could argue that that low was taken here, sure, but we really don't get a rally off of that. Okay, I mean we sort of do, but we have that low here, right, during London as well, and equities is right here. So equities, okay, we really don't do a lot. All right, we sweep this high after like this low, right? So fuck, man, I can't even tell if we went higher or lower first. the amount of times we whipsawed today and how tired I am, this is damn near impossible right now. It's like the first time y'all remember the first time you got stoned and you were like, you could barely walk. You know what I mean? Feel like a baby right now. Equities open, we trade higher, lower, right? We go higher again, short-term high, drop, short-term low, rally, short-term high, sweep it, we trade higher one more time, then we trade lower again, okay, taking out all of these lows, we trade higher again into 10 o'clock, sweeping that high, then we come down again at 10:25 to then take that 940 low, and that to me is what becomes the soup, especially once we get right there. Okay? And there's a reason for that. So, again, you have to keep this in the back of your mind. Higher high, not the greatest target. Slightly lower high, pretty good target. Lower low, pretty good stop. Slightly higher low, not usually a good stop unless you get in like right away. But that's not for today's discussion. Okay. Again, basics here. What's a target? What's a stop loss? I can't simplify it any more than this for you. Okay. So now when we look at 1025, that looks a lot more like a stop run than that does. Right? Now this does see expansion lower and then expansion higher, sure. But it doesn't have that wick characteristic right there. You get me? So, and this really should have been like moved over, but I wanted to try and keep it as clean as possible. So when we have a low, we have a lower low here, and then that 1025, that is when we get the soup. What is the soup, chat? What is a soup? Turtle soup is what most people call it. I just say soup for short. It's easier to say. Easier to say. Felix says lower low below an old low. Low below an old low. Right. See how easy that is? See how easy that is? It's a lower low below an old low. Now, could you straight up long the very next candle after that? Yeah, you could. You could. I have no issue with that. It's also 10:30, so you'd be longing the next 30-minute candle. I don't really do that here, but the next 15-minute candle, same thing, right? So at that point in time, meaning right here, okay? And I know the fibs is kind of distracting a little bit, but right there, okay? When price is at 67.03 and then it closes, all right? Yes, you do have the most recent high as a slightly higher high. But remember, you've got these up here. You see that? So we've already made a low, several, and then we made a lower low below all of them. So does that become more of a stop loss or more of a target? That becomes more of a stop loss. This, right, is more of a what? A stop loss or a target? I know this stuff is probably stupid easy for some of you, but we got to go over this stuff, man. So we have a high resistance set of lows, turtle soup. We have low resistant highs up here. So that 1025 closure like that with that wick, that to me basically says, okay, that's the turtle soup. That's it right there. Okay. But what else do you notice here? We have the range identified. We have the target down to the stop. So now we can start looking for what? 25%, that's a discount. Remember the lazy traders model? Some people don't like the lazy traders model. Well, you don't like 1 to 3s, I don't know what to tell you, because that's it right there. Look at that. Wow. Basics, lazy model. That's a 1 to 3 right there. That's crazy, right? It's absolutely crazy. But maybe you don't wait for that. Maybe you wait for the shift in the state of delivery, which is this. Okay, that down candle here, fractal low, by the way, we leave it. Okay, and we trade above that down candle. So that could also be an entry. Right there. The stop could go to the low end of the down candle or the low end of that imbalance here too. Like if you were on the next, that candle here, that imbalance, right? That's the first imbalance in a reversal. That should be left open. Okay. Can you nail a 1 to 3? Nope. It's a 1 to 4. Even better. You know what I mean? Now, maybe you look at that and you go, well, you know, I don't know, John. I got to wait for 50%. We crossed 50% on that. We go back into a discount and it trades right back, right? They keep saying there's no perfection in trading. They keep saying it. They keep saying that. And the open here is 67.02 and a quarter. It's right up here. Okay, it's right up here. That open, 67.02.75. 67.02.75. The low on that is 67.02.75. But perfection doesn't exist. No. There's no perfection. Can't be. Absolutely cannot be. No one's ever traded perfectly. 10:55, 11. So 11 o'clock opens below the open of the hour. See that? 50% is a discount if the market is bullish, or it's a discount if it's bearish. But it's not bullish. I mean, it's not bearish here. It's bullish. So lazy traders model here as well. 50%, long at 25. There's your 1 to 2. See that? That is what I was going to take here, and I decided not to, specifically because it was lunch and I had already breaking even earlier. So I was like, I'm gonna leave it. So I let that one go personally. And I'm okay with that. So, but either way, do you guys see what I'm talking about here? You see how what we can do is take a day like this where a lot of people look at that and they go, this is trash, this is not tradable, this is harsh. You know, I can agree that there is some level of challenge, yes. But you notice how if you just simply use the basics, you would have wiped the fucking floor today. That's how powerful these tools are. The tools that I've given you, same tools that were given to me. This is basic stuff, chat. Basic stuff. Higher high, stop loss. Lower high, target. Lower low, stop loss. Higher low, target. Okay? Turtle soup, stop. Low resistance highs, target. You can wait. You can trade that next candle. You can trade the 25% level. You could trade after the shift in the state of delivery, right? Which I wonder if that's a video that anybody else out there has on YouTube, probably. The imbalance, 50%. That's at least 5 different opportunities right in here to go for those highs. So, and I didn't even go over what I wanted to go over yet, but that right there, meaning one particular price swing. By swing, I mean from the soup low up to that sweep. I didn't think this would sweep, honestly. I thought we would keep going, but that's fine. This run from 10:25 to 11:20, about an hour, right about an hour. There was at least, on a 5-minute time frame, we didn't even talk about the 1 minute. On a 5-minute time frame, in an hour, there was at least 5 opportunities for that. So I talk about these things because, it gives you something to take notes on. It gives you something to journal. It gives you something to see. A lot of people do not see this stuff. They see the chart, they see the candlesticks, but they don't see this. You know what I mean? I have a interesting analogy for that, but I'm gonna keep it professional. We can all look at the same thing, but come away with different ideas. It's kind of like art. You know what I mean? If you took me to an art museum, I wouldn't know what I'm looking at. I'd be like, oh, that's kind of cool. Whatever. This is kind of boring. Let's go get coffee. Right? But you take an expert in art, and they're going to analyze the painting and, you know, look at the type of colors that were used and the style of the brush and all this and that and all the science behind art. I failed art twice, so I wouldn't know. You like that? You like how I connected that to yesterday's live stream? Anyway, you have to know that even if price is making higher highs and lower lows, there's still going to be opportunities because they're inside the range. Price trades, let's go back to some more basics. Price trades from liquidity to liquidity. Wow. What law is that? Oh, I don't know, John. I don't know all the laws. And I didn't take notes. Because you're lazy. Actually, I don't know them either. Oh, I don't know all 48. I made them. Law number 2. Right? Yeah, I've got them here too. Law 2. Price seeks liquidity and inefficiency. The law of delivery. You guys remember this, don't you? Imbalance to imbalance. My favorite, imbalance to liquidity. Liquidity to liquidity. And then my least favorite, liquidity to imbalance. So again, let's come back to what Flacco said, or Felix. It was one of you, right? That it was a harsh week, this week and last week. You're gonna look across the internet today. Oh, today sucks. Today was trash. Today was this. Today was that. Price is still respecting the laws that you got months ago. You know what I mean? Like, does that not give you confidence, right? Liquidity to liquidity, right? Okay, what's that right there? Boom, liquidity. What's that up here? Liquidity. Boom. What's the low of the day? Right there. What's the high of the day? Right there. Okay, so does that law still hold true? I don't know. Look at a chart. Look at a chart. What about, what else did we say? Imbalance to liquidity, right? That's one of them? Okay. What's that right there? I'll take everything off now because I want to clean this up a little bit. What's that right there? Imbalance to liquidity. Oh, law still holds true. You like that? Still holds true. Okay. So, not only was there quite a few opportunities today, right? But if you get to the charts and things are confusing, they're not setting up a model that you like, maybe even they're different, you know, NQ doing one thing, Dow doing another thing, and ES is kind of in the middle, right? That can be tough too. And let's actually go take a look at this. That was at 11:20. Okay. So how would we know that ES would trade to its highs? Well, I don't always know. There's always going to be uncertainty, of course, right? But when you look at the lows on NQ versus ES, you notice how we already got the soup here. So the run to opposing liquidity, and this is what I said in the Discord earlier, right? Those highs were way cleaner than ES. because of how close they are together, right? So we do end up getting a soup, right? We have London's low, and then we have 835, like equities open basically gave us a low. We traded off of it, and then we traded lower here again, right at 855. So that is a lower low below an old low. Now, I will say, me personally, I did not like how many times we retraced and how deep of a retracement those are. I don't care for that. Okay. But nonetheless, the market rallies at 10 o'clock to clear those highs. Same thing. High resistant highs, turtle soup. That's a better stop loss than it is a target. At least as those are open still. Okay. So that run occurred at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. is here for ES. It doesn't catch up to those highs. It does it later. It was a lagging scenario. Usually if you study that right there, usually the one that occurs later, like this on ES, like the one that has to play catch up, is usually a really good trade, because it's trying to get back in sync with its peer. You know what I mean? It ain't the leader. Definitely ain't the leader. But that lagging scenario of attacking that liquidity, that's one of the easier trades. That's one of the easiest trades. It literally set itself up perfectly. It gave you the soup. It gave you the down candle, right? Shift in the state of delivery. And then even if you didn't catch any of that, it presented that imbalance and came back for that. You know what I'm saying? The market is abundant. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Okay? And also take note that was at 10:50, 10:55. Okay? That's 3 hours. No. Quick math. See, I told you I was tired. Don't do quick math when you're tired. 2.5 hours. Okay, that's 2.5 hours after equities open. Why is that important? Because if you rush in trying to trade right at the open or a little bit after the open, what do you think happened today? A lot of traders got knocked out before what I believe to be the cleaner moves unfolded. That's how markets work. That, not every day, but that's how markets work. They take traders out and then they take it the other way. Take traders out, take it the other way. Sweep the low, run for the highs. How many times have you heard that? So, again, even on the, like, what most people would say the dirtiest days, there's still going to be clean setups. They're just hard to find. It's really more of a needle in a haystack, which I get that. But don't throw out the entire day because most of it was trash. There was still opportunities. You get me? So we talked about Law 2. Coming back to the question, and I know a few of you hopped on a little bit later. The question in the Discord earlier was how to avoid analysis paralysis. And my initial answer on Discord was, if it's not an idea, right, like a trade that you can frame that's one-sided, which I just walked you through, then it's simply not worth taking to me. If you're in analysis paralysis, just don't push any buttons, sit still and wait for clarity, right? That falls under Law 37. What is Law 37? I don't know. We're going to find out together because I looked at this just a minute ago. Hopefully I didn't give you amnesia with going through that PDF that quickly. Law number 37, practice proper patience, the law of patience. Patience in your personal life will assist in patience in trading. But look at this right here. Look at this. See that? Those 3 bullet points right there? There's like nothing up here, but that's funny. Patience to wait for good setups. Look at that. Patience to what? Type it in the chat. Let me know you guys are getting it. Patience to what? Wait for good setups. Does it say rush to good setups? Does it say rush to pass a combine? Does it say rush to make money? Or does it say, hey, bro, be patient. Wait for good setups. It doesn't say wait for setups. It says wait for good setups. You see, language matters, chat. A lot of people overlook this stuff. This video got 10,000 views, right? In like 6 months or 7 months, however long it's been. And I guarantee you, a lot of people, number one, most of you didn't watch it all the way through. And number two, the ones that did probably did not really focus on each law individually. You probably didn't. It's okay to admit that. It really is. And what's crazy is that you probably didn't even put enough time into studying it than the time I took to make the damn thing. But I made that for a reason. I made the laws for a reason. I gave you the PDF in the Discord for a reason. All of the stuff that people are struggling with, and I struggle with it too, okay? It's been in your notes this whole time. It's been there all along. You have to study the information, chat, okay? So we want to frame high probability trades. We want to wait for a one-sidedness. If we can't frame a one-sidedness, it may not be a good trade. All right, next up is law 21 and 31. Now, we're closer to 31, so we're going to go with that. How to avoid analysis paralysis. I just wrote down 3 simple things. Patience, stillness, and discipline. Patience, stillness, and discipline, which is law 21 and 31. So 31 is when in doubt, stay out. The law of safety. If you're not sure, or if the market isn't clear to you, stay out. That's not ambiguous. That's as clear as the market should be to you, right? If it's not clear, don't trade. If you can't frame, right? If it isn't clear to you, stay out. See that? See how simple, right? KISS, that's another law. Simplify trading for me, John. Simplify it down to do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. Well, there it is. If the market isn't clear to you, stay out. That's one sentence, right? You want to take high probability trades, not random trades. High probability, not random. Okay? So you might not see something that others see. I may tell you, hey, I think the market's going to go higher today. And you might be like, oh, well, I don't see it. Okay, well, then don't trade it. If you cannot see it, do not trade it. You get me? So drop some 2s if you guys like going through the 48 laws PDF a little bit. We can't go through the whole thing, obviously. But do you see how we can take these laws and say, okay, well, actually, yeah, that is quite helpful, actually. I did not create this, okay? Now, no, some of the things, like obviously the Stoic stuff I tossed in there, but like the idea of laws, buy low, sell high, I didn't make that up. You know what I mean? When in doubt, stay out. I didn't make that up, you know? But through the lens of trading, with smart money concepts through the lens of experience, through the lens of Stoic philosophy, of just simple logic. Keep it simple. If it ain't clear, stay out. If it's high probability, then you can go for it. But until then, you don't do anything. And that's the hardest part, because you think that you have to be trading every day. You do not. You do not. I've drilled this into your head more than once. You only need 1 to 2 good setups a week. That's it. For most people, for most traders, I'd say, the more time they spend on the chart, the worse they do. Sometimes, the less time they spend on charts, the better they perform. Just something to think about. All right. So when in doubt, stay out. The law of safety. And then I said 21 as well. Well, you saw that pair of dice, right? Shout out to all the gamblers out there today who gambled and got their clapped. All right, number 21, survive, then thrive, the law of preservation, which is very similar to 31, right? Account preservation should come first. Did I say account flipping should come first? Everybody put 200 into an account, try to flip that bitch to 1,000. Do I tell you to do that? Is growth what comes first? Is exponential bangers, home run, low risk buy, determinants of a sell model or buy model? Is that what I told you? No. Account preservation should be key. That should be your first key. The same way, and this is actually an AI image, but what I wanted to do was include that image of the 300. If you guys remember that movie, when they were getting ready to fight the Persians and they were in between the mountain. Y'all remember that? And they all lined up with the shields in front, and they had to funnel the Persians into like that one spot, and then the Spartans were like, okay, push, and then they whipped their ass, right? That's what they were doing. They were playing defensive first. They were waiting for the Persians to come in like goofballs and get tired. And once they were worn out, boom. Leonidas was like, all right, let's go. And then they made their move. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. 8:30 opening, equities opening in the first 30 minutes, usually. That's going to be the Persians coming at Leonidas and the other 299 Spartans. Let all the Persians, right? And I don't know if you guys are Persian or not. I'm not trying to talk shit, but it's just a movie, right? Let all the goofballs come in here and put their stop at the low and try to do this and try to do that. Let everybody get knocked out first. Then you strike. You understand? Growing the account comes after that. You don't have to trade every day. You have to think long term. How many people have you seen quit? A lot. Okay? You don't want to be one of those people. All right. The last one is law number 8. Man, there's some good stuff in here. All right. Number 8. Be a sniper, not a machine gunner. Be a sniper, not a machine gunner. The law of quality, okay? Quality setups, not quantity of setups. A lot of traders can't get the quality setup or the sniper entry because they burnt all their mental capital being a machine gunner. Trying to take, 10, 15 trades in like 2 hours. Like, bro, what are we doing? You're machine gunning. You don't want that. You don't want that. Okay? Now, if it works for you, hey, don't fix what ain't broken. But I tell you from experience, that ain't for me. Okay? And more trading doesn't mean more profits. Okay? Sometimes less is more. So, how do we avoid analysis paralysis? There's really no way that I know of to like avoid that, I guess. But what I would say is if you're on the charts, you don't know what's going on, you can frame both sides, right? Don't trade. Okay. Stick to your plan and to your model. We want to frame high probability trades only. Patience, stillness, discipline. Sniper, not a machine gunner. Right? But do you guys understand after the last 45 minutes? Do you understand? Oh my God, we didn't even make a new low of day. That's crazy. Do you guys understand now that even the most basics of basics, how helpful that can be? Right? That's what we did earlier today. Right? We talked about the low resistant highs. We talked about the high resistant lows, and the opportunities are going to be within that range. Shift, in-state delivery, imbalance, 50%, 25%, next candle, whatever. You got an inversion up here too, actually, right there. Boom. Inversion, done. You see that? You see how that works? Let everybody else get knocked out. 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 Then we strike. You see that? Yes, it's hard. It's difficult because patience is required. Discipline is required. Oddly, they're very similar, but they're not the same. Okay? The discipline to not execute. The patience to wait. Okay? Trust me, I challenge my patience every time I drive because for some reason, half the people in Houston are grandmas. Okay? We got people doing 40 and a 45 in the fast lane. Okay? Why do they do that? I don't know. What they ought to do is start deporting some of these, you know what I'm saying? Slow drivers, get them out of here. Okay. So look, don't cancel me. All right. But something's got to give. Okay. Patience. We have to work on that every day. We can work on that with the little things. Okay. Do you guys want a challenge or no? Drop some two, or we did two already. Drop some threes in the chat if you guys want a challenge. Do you want a challenge outside of trading? It ain't going to be journaling because I can't get you to do that. It ain't going to be printing charts because I can't get you to do that either. Would you like a challenge that will help you build your patience? Okay. Here it is. I won't hype it up because it's really not that special. I challenge you, all 50 of you, today, tomorrow, whenever you go to the grocery store next time. Okay? Here, I'll do a two-parter. You ready for this? I'll do a two-part. The first part and the most important part. Your challenge is the next time you go to the grocery store or to the mall or something, you go somewhere, okay? Ideally the grocery store. Park all the way in the back. That's your challenge. It doesn't sound like much, but I can guarantee you half of you won't do it. Just park in the back. All the way in the back. Or at least beyond halfway. Okay? So let me just draw, let me draw this out for you real quick and then we'll hop off. Okay? Watch this. Don't lose this. Here's a blueprint. Here's Kroger. Okay? Here's a parking lot. And you've got all the spots, right? And then here's your door to get into your grocery shopping. Okay? Park in the upper half. The furthest away from the grocery store. That's where you park today or tomorrow. The next time you go. You get me? Now, not to flex or anything, but I do this every time. I park way back here and I take up 2 spots. I know some of you still don't agree. Oh, John, you're an asshole. Okay, well, You spend as much as I fucking spend on a car, and you'll be worried about dinks too. So until then, worry about yourself. All right. But that's your challenge. Park either all the way in the back or at least in the second half, furthest away from the store. Here's part 2. Okay. Here's part 2. Your next challenge is on your way in the store. If you see a basket, you knew that was coming. Okay? That's a cart, by the way. All right? If you see one of those bitch ass people who leave their cart out in a parking spot because they're too lazy to put it back, that's your job. On the way inside, take that cart, put it where it's supposed to go, or take it inside. Okay? That is your challenge. It's a 2-parter. Park in the back, or at least the second later half. It doesn't matter how many empty spaces there are. It doesn't matter how awkward it might seem. Doesn't matter how stupid you think it is. Just do it. Okay? You got to work on the little things before you can get to the big things. You get me? So if you can't walk an extra, 20 seconds? Unsubscribe. Unsubscribe. Trading ain't for you. Okay? And I can't. Trading ain't going to be for you. All right? So park in the back. If you see a cart within the vicinity of where you're walking, just take it, put it where it's supposed to go, or take it back inside. That's your challenge. Okay? You don't have to send me a picture. You don't have to send me a video. You don't have to tell me that you did it. As a matter of fact, I don't even want you to tell me, because this is going to be for you. You'll know if you did it or not. You'll know if you kind of half-assed it or not. It ain't up to me. I don't care. I'm not going to hold your hand. I'm not going to hit you up. Oh, did you do your challenge? I'll probably bring it up later this week. You know what I mean? But patience and discipline starts with the little things. Once you take care of the little things, you move on to the medium things, and then you get to the bigger things. Okay? So with that, it's 1 o'clock for me. So now we'll cut it here. Okay? So get back to the basics. If some of the advanced stuff is too much, go back to the basics. Do the challenge and just be blessed. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow on Wednesday, October the 1st. Spooky season is upon us, chat. Spooky season is upon us. All right? So y'all be good. Be blessed. I'll see you tomorrow.
Promises, they died the day you let me go. Caught up in a web of lies, but it was just too late to know. I thought it was you who would stand by my side, and now you've run away.
reality and find the future not so bright. I dreamt the impossible, that maybe things would work out right.